Welcome to Shout Out with Sage Show. Shout Out with Sage.
Shout me out.
And that's all I gotta say. So shout out and let's go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shout Out with Sage. I'm your host, Sage Stevens, and my guest today was a professional basketball player who has transitioned into acting. He played opposite Matthew McConaughey in the crime thriller The Gentleman, which also had a stellar ensemble cast of Michelle Dockery, Colin Farrell, Tom Wu, Jeremy Strong, Eddie Marsan. I mean, just a few people, no one really big. It was written and directed by the iconic filmmaker who is like one of my all-time favorites, Guy Ritchie. And I want to welcome to the show today, CHIDI AJUFO. Hi, CHIDI. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So you were a professional basketball player, and now you are an actor. How did that all come about?
I know life is interesting and it's transitions. Living in LA, being inspired by a lot of creatives helped. Even though, yes, I desired to be an actor when I was a kid, I just never had the chance or opportunity or nowhere to go to achieve those goals. So from playing basketball professionally, or even college, and living in Los Angeles, I got inspired by all the creatives around me and kind of said, let me try this out a little bit, in my 30s. And
right. So how did you make the jump from basketball? So were you in LA with basketball then, and then you were here?
Well, I went to college in California. I went to Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara and Azusa Pacific University. Then after I graduated, I played professionally in different countries. But coming back to LA, I did TV commercials. So I did Nike commercials, Under Armour. I was LeBron James stunt double for a few commercials. So playing basketball and stuff. So through that, I transitioned from commercial into stunt work, and from stunt work into theatrical.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were there people that you met along the way that sort of guided you in that? Like, did you tell anyone, hey, I'd really like to be doing this? Whatever this is.
Yes. Different people are along the lines. For example, Vic Armstrong is one of them. I met Vic Armstrong. He's a amazing stunt coordinator. He's done X-Men, Indiana Jones, most of the Marvel stuff. So I met him, and he ended up hiring me for a movie called Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit, where I was a stunt double for the actor Nonso Anozie.
Okay.
So through that, he was like, "CHIDI, what do you think?" And that was my first, time on a movie set, and I was like, "This is amazing."
So how did you meet him exactly?
I met him through a friend of mine that I went to college with. She's the one that introduced me to Vic, because Vic was looking for a 6'6" stuntman, and it was, for some reason, it's hard to find a 6'6" stuntman. He was 6'7", but he was looking for a 6'6" stunt guy. And she was like, "CHIDI, I know you're trying to, be an actor and whatnot." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Do you do stunts as well?" I said, "Well, I do fights." She was like, "Oh, let me introduce you to Vic." So she set up an appointment. I met with Vic and his brother and his whole family, actually.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a random first interview with his whole family.
Well, I always like those stories, all those, like how things all eventually come together, and it's always interesting. I always find it interesting to listen to.
Yeah.
And then so you met him, and he was like, "Hey, it worked out," and he cast you.
Well, I met him, and he hired me for the film Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. But even after that, nothing really happened after that. Like, it was quiet for a couple of years. So I came back to LA because we filmed that in England for a few months. So after that, I came back to LA and, thinking of how to navigate or start in this business as an actor, even though I just did stunts. But as an actor, it was a different field. So, I took some classes here, met up with networked with a lot of people, and things, I did YouTube stuff, some YouTube videos, some independent stuff, and things transitioned from there. And I'm here now, really.
And do you have an agent or a manager?
Yes. I do have an agent here. I'm with KMR here, and with Wintersons in England.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
was it hard to find an agent? Like I know when I talk to some actors, that's sometimes a hard thing for them.
It wasn't hard for me. It
Okay.
is hard for some people, and
Right.
there's some things that have come to me. I won't say easily per se, but it's come to me easier than it has for other people.
Right. Do you think that's because you have a good network and you have like good friends that support you, or
I,
you're
I
just
think I
you're
think
just a
it's
6'6" guy walking around?
maybe that's what it is. I'm just walking around like, but
Sort of stand out a little.
I think everything plays a part.
Right.
Personality, looks, all that plays a part in all these things. So I wasn't searching for an agent.
Okay.
I was just on LA Casting and Actors Access and just self-submitting. And I heard about KMR, so I sent my stuff to KMR,
Okay.
and and other agencies as well. KMR were the first ones to respond, so I set up a meeting with them. They liked what they saw. They hired me commercially at first. It was just
Right.
for commercials
Okay.
and
Right.
sports and stunts. After doing a few, then I started getting calls
Okay.
for theatrical work
Mm.
through my stunt agent.
Mm.
So it was interesting that
Right. How it
that started
developed.
with stunts, then joined them theatrically as time went by.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into acting? Like what was your inspiration for that?
Growing up, we watched a lot of movies growing up.
Mm.
Even though back in the day it was VHS. I grew up in the 80s, so VHS, we had a bunch of them stacked. A library of them.
All the tapes.
And yeah, exactly. And on TV, you only have back then we only had 5 channels, so we're watching the same videos all over and all over again. And a lot of movies we watched were a lot of action films. So every time I watch the action movie, I'm like, oh gosh, I want to be this action guy. I just wanted to be a big action figure. Yeah, just fight, shoot them up, blow them up, explosions. I enjoyed all that. So that's where the inspiration came in when I was a kid. And I got, I also used to watch wrestling a lot. I liked WWF back in the day. I was a
Okay,
massive
yeah, my
fan.
brothers, I have two brothers, and they would try and test out some moves on me every now and
Oh
then.
yeah.
Yes, I'm very familiar with,
Yeah, we my brothers. The thing is that in my family, there's 6 of us. 5 boys and 1 girl, and I'm the youngest boy. So yes, we tested moves on each other over the years. Yeah, and that was fun. So through that, through all that, being inspired by all these action films, I just wanted to be this action guy.
Okay.
So interesting that even though that dream faded away when I was a kid, I got into sports, basketball. I also did real estate for a while. And now as an adult, I'm in that field of what I wanted to do as a kid. And now I did stunts. I'm an action guy. I'm beating people up in movies. I'm shooting people up. And yeah, I'm thankful to be where it is I'm at.
And what is the similarity or differences between acting and you're a former professional basketball player? Has basketball helped you in the acting world?
Definitely. Definitely in many ways. One that is very important is work ethic and teamwork. It's very important. Coming from a team background that was very militant, where we had to train 4 hours every day. Like we have one day off a month, and we're training every day for 4 hours. I got used to that habit for over 10 years. So coming into the creative space in the acting world, and things were not every day. It was a bit uncomfortable. Like, wait, I need everyday training, so I need to work on this craft every day because it's what I'm used to. So teamwork and work ethic helped transitioning from basketball into acting, because I'm using those same skills I learned there in the creative field as well.
Right, because filmmaking is a community, and everyone relies on the other person. So
Exactly.
just like you need someone to pass the ball to you, and right, or you can't
Yeah.
get it up the court. So
Yeah.
so to speak. So, what was the best advice you've been given so far?
Best advice is stay true to who it is that you are. Don't get bamboozled or whatnot about how people are living their lives and running their lives. Your journey is your journey. So stay true with what it is you feel like you are. As long as you're doing everything from the genuineness and from a place of love as well, then you can't go wrong. So that's the best advice.
What tip or would you give someone that's wanting to be an actor and come to LA? What advice would you give them?
One is you don't have to be in LA, because honestly, most of my jobs, everything, even The Gentleman, Blood Red Sky, everything I've done have all been international.
Okay.
LA is not the only place for film and television. The whole world, especially now with all the streaming services, Netflix is helping a lot of independent people and, in foreign people as well. So one is you don't have to be in LA. Two is stick with it. It takes, there's ups and downs in everything. For example, this year has been very quiet acting for me, but the end of the year, now things have picked up now, end of the year. Last year was busy, the year before, even during the pandemic was busy for me. So quiet times are okay. Don't feel discouraged by the quiet times. They also say, whatever it is that you're in, give yourself 10 years to see some kind of success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you have
allow
to put the time in to create the momentum to get stuff going, right? It's not
exactly.
I mean, some people are lucky that way, but not everyone.
Not everyone. But give yourself time. That you don't expect to just jump in and think, oh, I'm going to succeed. No, give yourself time. Things have to build, and allow that and enjoy the journey, not just a destination, but enjoy the whole process, because it's a beautiful experience, going through all that journey.
What advice would you give to, let's say there's a filmmaker and he's not getting the reaction he needs from the actor? Is there a certain way you think an actor, there's certain language, or if someone's a filmmaker not getting what they need?
It's an interesting question, because I've seen directors do different. Some directors are aggressive, militant, like, no, get this done. Mm-hmm. And whereas others are, very kind of soft spoken. So you have to understand your teammates. It's teamwork. You have to understand that this person doesn't respond well to aggressive talk.
Yeah.
And whereas this other person may do. So it just all depends on the individual. So you have to understand who it is you're working with, understand what motivates them, what moves them, and how it is they can get to where it is they need to get to.
Sorry, there's a big, I don't know if you can hear it, there's a big plane or something flying overhead.
No, actually, I can't hear it.
Awesome. Okay. Sorry, go ahead. I just didn't know.
So yeah, it just all depends on the people involved. So if depending on how they respond to these things, as I said, if someone really wants to respond well to aggression, then you can talk to them in a militant way. But if, especially when it's something that is pretty emotional, like you have to dig in deep. I think
vulnerable.
Exactly. It's better to be in that same calm, relaxed space so that person can connect to that emotion,
I read that you had you were Aladdin in a theater production.
I was the genie in an Aladdin.
I'm sorry, the genie.
Yeah.
How did that come about? I found that very interesting. Was that one of your first things ever?
It wasn't my first. It's interesting enough. That is what led to the upward movement of my career per se. And I love that. The reason why I love theater, I know this is not answering the question, but the reason why I love theater,
it's okay, we got time,
is because of I've come from a basketball background, as you know. We train every day.
Yeah, it's live. It's then.
We did 63 shows in 7 weeks.
Wow.
That's like 2 shows a day. So we were practicing every single day. I loved that. The energy. And I remember as soon as I was done after the 7 weeks, I was like, okay, now I can rest for a couple of days. After 2 days, I was hungry for more. I was so hungry. So I love theater because it's the everyday repetition of work. It reminded me of basketball practice. Whereas TV and film is like, you do your thing, and you have to wait till they get to the editing room and they choose whatever it is that they want to choose. You're like, wait, this is not my best scene. Maybe it's not. So it's the difference between that is like film and TV is out of your hands, whereas theater, it's you. You get the direct feedback from the audience. You put in the work and you deliver. But from how I got into Aladdin is my agent in England is the one that said, "Hey, looking for the genie for Aladdin. Let me know if you're interested." I was like, "Oh, I'll audition." I auditioned over Zoom. Because I was in LA and they were in England. So the director met me up in Zoom and liked what he saw and just gave me the role.
Awesome.
We filmed in. I did it for 2 years. I did it one winter in Middlesbrough, and the second winter was in Manchester, in England.
And you were saying that I've been to Manchester. That's cool.
Yeah, Manchester is nice.
Yeah, you were saying that was sort of the impetus to where you are now. How did that happen?
Because through that, because initially the agent I had in England was was more of a character agent. They focused on large people, big, like Game of Thrones type individuals. So it was a specific field. Whereas when I did the theater, I ended up finding a theatrical agent through that, from doing theater. And that agent is Nikki Winterson, who has literally added to my success. Nikki has been great. So yeah.
Have you studied acting? Like, did you go to school for that, or?
School? No, but living in LA, I took a bunch of classes with Will Wallace Acting Academy in Burbank. I was there a couple times a week for over a year, really. So I didn't actually go to acting school per se.
Like, yeah.
But, yeah, I took classes here in LA.
Okay. What's your favorite part about acting?
It's what I like about acting is the more you understand these characters. I see it the same way as me. I travel a lot, and the experience I have with understanding different cultures, different people, the way people think, and all that allows me to understand myself better. So acting allows me to see myself differently, better, evolve in a sense. That's the part of acting. That's the reason why I like acting.
And how does it make you evolve, or how? Do you want to explain a little bit?
Well, it's growing up one particular way, you think this way is the way, the truth, the life. This is the only way. But now you're open. Acting allows me to open up to other ways of thinking, other ways of living, other ways of experiencing life, per se. So I'm appreciative of playing different characters because it allows me to understand myself more.
Okay. Yeah. Were there any hurdles that you faced when you were first starting out? Was there anything where you were thinking maybe this isn't really the right path for me, or you were pretty set?
Of course. There's always, even from I think everything I've done, there's always been I've always had that imposter syndrome. Because in basketball, I started playing basketball at 17. I was late. I started playing basketball at 17. At 20, I got a scholarship to Division I university. So I was like, wait, I'm playing with these guys that have been playing since they were kids, trying to be, Michael Jordan. And I just started 3 years ago, and I'm here. So I was like, I don't think I deserve this. So same with acting. I've been doing this for 8 years now, and I've already done some pretty good movies and TV shows. So I've had that. Maybe this isn't for me. But what allows me to get over the hurdle is I'm here for a reason. You know what I mean? They're hiring me for these jobs. I've done these jobs for a reason. I got a basketball scholarship and play professional for a reason. It's not because you're rubbish. It's because you're good at what it is you do. So it's me, even though people can say whatnot, people can say, oh, yes, you're great at this, you're great at that. I have to believe in myself. Right. So in the end, I'm my own motivator. I have to believe that I am good at what it is I do, which allows me to keep moving forward.
Interesting. Are there any other people you would like to give a shout out to that have helped you so far, along the way?
Oh yeah, there's many people. In all my travels, as I said, I've met so many people along the way, my journey. to where it is I'm at. Vic Armstrong is one of them. You know, to give a shout out to Nikki Wintonson, my agent, because she's the best there is, from what I know. My friends. I have a bunch of friends. My boy Acho, he's great. You know, my friend Opal as well. She's great. Adrian. So these core people I have around me allow me to, you know, keep me motivated. Can I say?
Right.
Yeah,
Do they call you out on your crap at all?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. If my friends don't call me out on my crap, they're not really friends. Yeah, I don't want yes people around me. You know what I mean? They tell me like, Chidi, listen, what you're saying is rubbish. Like, you know, I like those people.
I don't really agree with you there. Right? Exactly.
Yeah, it's true friends.
Right. How important do you think gratitude is, like, for a person and for your daily existence, or do you?
Daily. I wake up daily, and I give thanks to God because of where it is I'm at, and because I know I could be in worse positions than I'm in. So daily, I always make a conscious decision to create gratitude. So it's very important, really.
What's your idea of success?
My idea of success. Success to me is doing everything from a place of love. Is as long as I'm creating from a place of love, building relationships, friendships, partnerships, whatever it is, from a place of love, that is success. As long as I have love in everything that I do and all the people around me, I'm happy. I'm successful. You know, so that's the goal. That's how I live my life. The friendships I make, the connections I make, is all from a genuine place of love and not harm or hate or whatever it is, or
negativity.
It's literally genuine.
To go back to the movie with Guy Ritchie, how did that opportunity happen for you? Did you just audition, or how did that?
Basically, yeah, I auditioned. You know, the Guy Ritchie audition. I auditioned on crutches.
Oh wow! Oh my god!
Yeah, I was in an accident in September 2018, and I was on bed rest for 6 weeks with my leg up because I had a fire accident. I had 3rd-degree burns down my leg.
What?
And yeah, it was situation in London where my parents' kitchen was on fire. So me thinking I'm a superhero. Well, I wasn't thinking really. Adrenaline just came.
Right, you just like.
Yeah, I just jumped in to save, and in the process of saving the house, I got 3rd-degree burns down my right leg. So I remember on the last week of healing, there was an audition for The Gentleman. And I walked into the audition room on crutches. I remember I took a cab there, walking on crutches. And they're like, "You okay? You okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. This is coming off in a few days. It's okay." The cast was coming off in a few days. So I auditioned, and literally, as I walked out of the audition room, less than 10 minutes later, I get a call from my agent saying, "We want you to come back tomorrow for a second audition."
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Whoa, this is great. I went back in the next day for a second audition. Right as soon as they were done, they were like, "Okay, we're going to send the contract to your agent."
Wow, that's amazing.
I know. And me, I'm trying to be cool. I'm like, "Oh, okay.
No worries. Yeah, okay. I'll just talk to my agent later."
Guy Ritchie movie.
So how did you prepare for that? Like, do you have a certain way of preparing for every audition? Does it change from audition to audition?
No, everything changes because all characters are different. Right. Bunny was a very London, a little bit of Cockney, even though Bunny didn't have much dialogue, but he's a proper London geezer type thing. So I had to understand and also do research on Guy Ritchie's projects because he has a certain style.
Yeah, definitely. Snatch and all that.
Exactly. And I noticed he's not, some directors like to stick to the script and some directors give you freedom. Guy Ritchie gives you freedom.
Oh wow!
Or he's like, "What else you want to add to that?" You know what I mean? Just throw in a little something in there, which is nice. It gives you some room to be creative.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you how do you handle your nerves? Like, I'm sure being a basketball player, you would be nervous as well. So I'm sure you have, like,
I
do you have
mean,
a routine in that? Do you do breath work, meditation, visualization? How do you, when you go for an audition in front of Guy Ritchie, I'm sure you have some nerves going on.
yeah, nerves happen every time. Breath work definitely helps. Meditation, I haven't meditated in a while, but I used to back in the day.
Mm.
And visualization helps because I try and see exactly how everything is going to be, so that I can come in ready and prepared. Because there's a few times where I've been nervous on set because I'm like, I'm here with the big dogs. Matthew McConaughey is here, Hugh Grant is here, Charlie Hunnam is there, and so it's like these guys are veterans, and I'm like, I'm new here, So it is nerve wracking a little bit, but breathing and understanding that I tell myself, Chidi, they want you, not vice versa. Don't feel like hey, you have to do this to impress them. No, they hired you because they want you. They like what it is they've seen. So just be who it is that you are, and
Yeah,
everything
you
will
just
work
have
out
to
well.
keep your positive self-talk
Well,
going.
yeah, every time, man. You have to talk to yourself every time. Yeah.
Get out of your way, get out of your way.
Yeah.
What new projects, what are you working on? Like, what's coming up in the future for you?
Well, I just got a call about the Gentleman TV series they're doing.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Awesome.
no,
I watched the movie. You were fabulous. I loved it. So
I
it was,
appreciate it.
I mean, as I said, yeah, that's totally it was so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's good to hear.
Mm.
So they're doing a TV series, and I think they're filming from December to April in London. So I'm going
Oh,
to be heading to London soon to get that done. The Netflix one, I don't know if you saw Narco Saints on Netflix, came out a couple weeks ago, and it did well on Netflix. It was #1 in Korea and a bunch of other countries, and I think it got to #3 on Netflix here in America. So that's another good TV series to watch.
and any theater coming up for you?
Theater. The thing is that I do enjoy theater. I do enjoy theater, but nothing yet. In the future, maybe, but nothing yet.
Mm. How do people find you online if someone wants to, like, follow you or stalk you on social media?
Social media is fine. Chidi Ajufo is my first and last name on Instagram. So people can find me on Instagram.
Mm. Okay, so what would be your last tip to someone wanting to be an actor? Like, what's your biggest piece of advice for someone?
Don't stop with what you're doing, and also don't feel like you need someone to assist you or to help you. Everyone is creating right now, especially with the phone. You've got this high-tech HD cool Apple iPhone plus Android that do great work. You can create yourself, you can produce yourself, you can write, so you don't need others. You can actually do things by yourself, and just keep going at it, because if you believe in yourself, everyone else will believe in you too.
Great. Is there anything you'd like to add before we end it for today?
No, it's been great. It's been great. I read up on you as well, Sage.
Oh,
And
God.
things that you've done, and the short films and all that. And I was like, okay, look at Sage.
Oh, yeah, I've acted in a few things. Yeah.
You've done a few things. You've just done a few things.
Just a few things.
You've done a lot of things. A lot of things.
Yes.
Good.
Sort of focusing more on writing these days, but I did start in the acting, and when I was in Japan, I modeled in acting, and here in the U.S. was more. I did a lot of indie films. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope to see you. I'm sure I'll see you on TV, on my TV or my screen or a movie theater. And so when's the Gentleman? So the Gentleman series is being filmed, and then when should it be coming out, do you think?
I actually have no idea when it's coming out.
Mm.
I have zero idea, but filming is going to go on until the first season anyway, until April. So we'll see what happens after that.
Cool. Can't wait for that. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Welcome to the Shout Out with Sage show. Shout Out with Sage.
Shout me out.
And that's all I gotta say. So shout out and let's go.
Thanks everyone for joining us today on Shout Out with Sage on Streaminn HUBB Radio. See you next time.